today I'm going to be talking about The Mandalorian and what we could see in its second season. Mainly about, we've got a whole bunch of characters from the wider Star Wars universe who are apparently appearing in it. Why are they appearing? What would their roles possibly be? And etc. In the background I'll be doing some Star Squadrons, the multiplayer mode, something I have not done yet on this game, so this should be fun. Okay, so first character I wish to talk, or a lot of the okay, I'll have to start. In the latest trailer for this season, we've seen him talking about looking for Mandalorians. So I reckon that's going to factor into why a lot of these characters appear. First, Corbin Vance. I don't know how to pronounce that name, I'm pretty sure it's right. Cobbvanth, Corbin Vance? Maybe? Anyway, he was introduced in the Aftermath book, where he finds a set of Mandalorian armor on Tatooine. He is now a sheriff, like a sheriff figure on Tatooine. A lot of people reckon this is Boba Fett's armor, which makes sense. Random Mandalorian armor on Tatooine, Boba Fett's armor. Why would he be in this show? I reckon it's purely for the fact we've got the Mandalorian, Mando, as I'm going to call him for the rest of this, looking for other Mandalorians, and there's a guy who's dressed like one. So he'll just be introduced as, ooh, look, here's another Mandalorian, it turns out it's wrong, and that will lead into possibly the return of Boba Fett, a Mandalorian he thinks could help him, but Boba Fett would not be able to help him. Or even the Boba Fett could be introduced later and just follow him from Tatooine, but I think Boba Fett, if he is in this season, would be an antagonist. Other characters we're apparently getting, we'll be getting Sabine Wren, apparently, according to rumours, who, for those of you who've watched Rebels, know is a Mandalorian, and at one point wielded the Darksaber. At this point in the universe, she's with Ahsoka Tano, so I could see that being how Ahsoka's introduced. I feel those two could be sort of the last ones we can see, because Ahsoka's the closest thing to a Jedi we'll be getting. So maybe it will lead to the Mandalorian or Mando finding them, because Ahsoka's close enough to Jedi, and she could lead and possibly suggest Luke. I wouldn't be surprised to see like a D.H. Mark Hamill cameo in it at some point. But anyway, going back to other Bo-Katan, that's so far. Evil, oh, what's her name?
Titan 3, tightening formation.
One sec. I'll go to another character we apparently getting, or people rumored we're getting, with the return of Jango Fett's actor. People reckon he could be playing both Boba Fett and Captain Rex. Captain Rex I could see as another almost half fake-out Mandalorian, in the sense that you introduce him because he's a clone of a Mandalorian.
This is the moment we've been training for.
So I could see, and he would possibly help lead to Ahsoka Tano and Sabine Wren. And I need to keep focused on the game. Oh god. And I'm dead. So yeah, I think Captain Rex's introduction to this, to the story and narrative, would be the concept, like we see him as just a figure of, like he's first introduced as it's Mando thinks he's a Mandalorian and he's not. And that could, and the rebels see him as a threat, because he's alive at that point in the universe, old but alive. And as he's a clone of a Mandalorian, you could have, because he's close enough, he's closer than the first person I mentioned, who's just wearing a Mandalorian armor. So I think that's a possibility. So yeah, I think we could see him introduced as, and the reason he's in it is because he's a clone of a Mandalorian. We get Boba Fett in it, who's tracking him down, and they meet nearest the end, or maybe he even teams up with the Empire, or what's left of the Empire. We get Ahsoka and Sabine Wren out. He meets them whilst out on the search for Ezra Bridger, a character who I don't believe we'll be seeing in it, but even so, but I'd like to, because for those who don't know, Rebels ends with Force Sensitive being Ezra Bridger sending himself into the unknown regions to stop Thrawn, a character who in the original lore helped rebuild the Empire and after the defeat of Palpatine. So maybe we could even see, maybe not in this season, but if they do a spin-off show or in the next season, Thrawn and Ezra return, and Thrawn help build up the First Order. which would be cool and interesting to see, I feel. But up to this point, I feel a lot of the characters we're getting introduced are just other like Mandalorians we've seen before. And as we're gonna have a season of the search for the Jedi, and then we've got to think, could we find out the name of the child? I feel it's possible we get or we stop calling it, the fan base and stop calling it Baby Yoda and give it a actual name. But also, it kind of feels like they would keep that merchandise and branding because it's probably doing them quite well. But yeah, there are. I thought this would be the reason for a lot of these characters. We may get a Luke cameo, I feel, as the idea of looking for Jedi and then we see a Jedi. And the Force sensitive they'll find is Ahsoka Tano, because there aren't Jedi really left in this universe. A lot of them are gone, with Luke being the only remaining ones. What we could also, I like the concept of we have Inquisitors returning in some way. I've seen the idea that he's looking for Force sensitive and that's all he's going by. So if you have an Inquisitors or other evil Force sensitives return him thinking they are the Jedi, because there would assuredly still be a couple Inquisitors out there. Like we've seen. Once we've seen a lot of them die, there's surely like 8th brother or whatever still out there kind of thing. So maybe they return in some role. Because it seems like this season where we're getting more of the Grand Stars universe, we're gonna be seeing more connections to the existing things with the Clone Wars, Rebels maybe, stuff like that. So where do you think the story could go? I'd be interested to know what other people think, and everything I said here could be proved wrong in a couple days' time when the first episode airs. Who knows? God, I hope not. That will make this seem bad. But yeah, this is a series which overall has been good and will remain to be good. We just have to kind of wait and see, I guess. But I do feel we will get a lot more story in the sense of what the Jedi are doing, how the universe has evolved. Because we haven't seen this part. All we know is the next big thing is the rise of Snoke and Kylo and all of that, which we see in the sequel trilogy. But how do we get there? So yeah, as I say, if you've got any ideas on how the series could go, or if you've got anything you'd like to see in it, I'd love to hear it. Final couple thoughts is, how could this series end? I wish to go well. I feel like it's almost guaranteed we'll probably, if it will probably do well, we'll probably get a third one. But are we likely to see, because it's all being a continuous story, so could it just be it's moving into a bigger galactic threat still and he ends up joining the rebellion, or what, but he goes back to smuggling? Because how far can they take the story? Because he can't, whilst he could affect the I feel the story could go into a continuation of Rebels and Ezra and all that, but you can't have him join the Republic or help out with the Republic and the Grand Army of it, because then you have the same problem with Rogue One of he has to die before, or like all the characters, I think. Yeah, I'm interested to see how this goes, what characters we could see returning. I know a lot of people want Darth Maul to return in some kind of cameo way, which, as cool as it'd be, I feel his story's done, don't bring him back. But yeah, as I said, anything you'd like to see, mention it. Thank you for watching, this has been Nerd Talk. Goodbye.